Personal finance expert and MeVest founder Lesley-Anne joining us on Canada Now. And Lesley-Anne, your latest article in the Star discusses how the road to better sex could come from financial capability, with Valentine's Day fast approaching. A nice reminder.
Well, isn't this such a shock that I'm talking about sex? But honestly, the data is coming through, and what it is saying is that better than any therapy or trying to have more sex or trying to fix your relationship, if couples just step back and take a moment to focus on their finances and align on those big items to do with their finances, you'll actually see benefits in all aspects of your relationship. And you may not find this surprising at all because you've been married for a while, but when you do align with your partner, it's so relaxing and you're happy and you can dream together. It's just a better situation. And unfortunately, money matters are one of those leading causes of separation and divorce. So let's prevent it.
Well, I'll tell you, I came out of a relationship years ago where our financial goals and financial thinking didn't quite align. We weren't like complete opposites, but they didn't quite align. And, you know, now in a new relationship with my now wife, we've been together for a long time now. One of the first conversations we had, not on purpose, but one of the first conversations we had, Lesley-Anne, was about finances and about, hey, you know, when you get your credit card bill, pay it right away, you know, and this is how much money I like to save percentage wise. Like, we honestly talked about it because I guess it was both of interest. And when we both knew instantly that financially our goals and our mindsets were aligned, completely took the pressure off as far as what our futures might be. Like, you hoped romantically that everything would be sound. And as it turns out, it was, financially speaking, and in terms of those goals, we haven't had a worry ever since that conversation.
Right. And what you're talking about is the trait of financial security. It's now one of the top 3 sexiest traits that you look for in a partner. Financial security, then comes humor and intelligence. It's not about body image. Yeah, that could be important, but it's so much more about alignment. And like you and your wife, my husband and I had a very similar path. We started talking about money very early on the 3rd date. I was like not interested in continuing to go on dates with him until he and I were clear that we were both, you know, compatible in the way we wanted to save, what we thought was important for our futures, because everything that a couple cares about actually shows up in the way the money is managed. You can see it in the bank account.
Yeah. And you have 7 steps for couples to take to become financially aligned. And these steps are actually featured as well in your book, Modern Couples Money Guide.
That's right. So when I was putting the book together a couple of years ago, I went straight to the data. You know me, that's my favorite thing to do. First thing is you and your partner do want to get on the same page. This should be the fun part about the conversation to do with money. What do you want to accomplish in the next 10 years? Do you want to grow a business? Do you want to buy another home? It's the part where you dream together, and your dreams hopefully are aligned. But this is unfortunately the part where some couples realize, oh boy, we're headed in different directions. And you can decide what you want to do with that. But the dreaming phase, the initial getting on the same page, it should be the fun part.
Yeah. Getting on the same page. And then at number 2, like, scrapping your emotions, sort out your accounts, and form a combined list of your assets and liabilities.
That's right. This is not the part where you're finger pointing. You just like actually make a list. Assets, what do we own? Liabilities, what do we owe money on? And you subtract your liabilities from your assets to get a number called your net worth. And as a couple, if you work to improve that number every month by growing your assets and reducing your liabilities, you're on the right track. If the number's shrinking, we have something else going on, which is typically like spending behavior that needs to be corrected. But that part is, yeah, you're going to have to crack the books, and you may find some secret accounts. You may even find some evidence if there was some financial resentment there, like things like revenge spending. It's all going to come out, and you're going to see it. But my advice here is we're trying to move along. So move along. Just
Yeah.
park differences and move along, and establish kind of some better, healthier boundaries.
Yeah. Number three, recognizing overspending and then obviously curbing it.
Yeah, so here's the scoop. Overspenders can live harmoniously with savers, but the overarching boundary setter, if you will, can be a budget that you jointly agree on. And it is okay for one partner to have a need to spend a little bit more money than another partner. Very natural, very normal, but let that budget govern the process. It shouldn't be where one partner like mandates a method of budgeting or a method of spending. It's got to be like agreed upon. And like in our household, we also have one additional rule, which is neither of us have to report back spending if it's under $400, but anything
Right.
over $400, we have a discussion about.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, communication is key whenever you're talking about couples, whenever you're talking about financial planning within at least a couple of people. Number four, and maybe overspending has led to debt, but number four is get out of debt.
Absolutely. So, like, the beautiful thing about tackling your debt together is it does feel like teamwork. And as a couple, if you want that net worth number to grow, you do need to hammer down on the debt. So it's going to take some time. Do it as a team, make light of it. And one of the ways to make light of it is as you achieve certain debt milestones. So maybe you get the debt down by a quarter, celebrate your success together. That will really help. And whatever you do, don't get into more debt while you're paying off the existing debt.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Number five, speaking of debt, having a house, but being house poor. Like that's the worst thing. Like you might look at, hey, this is the house I've always wanted, and you could afford it just like that. But then you have no money left over for anything.
You got it. So home poverty is a big issue right now, especially in expensive cities. And unfortunately, we're seeing younger couples and first-time home buyers really struggle with home poverty where they cannot afford anything but their home. Let me be clear here. That is very bad for your relationship because you do need to spend money on other things. You might need to spend some money on counseling or money coaching or going on vacation or on a gym pass when things reopen and you feel like it's comfortable and safe for you to go back to the gym. These things offer you balance in your life. And when you're out of balance because you overstretched yourself on the home, it will put pressure on your relationship. My best advice here is do what you can to come up with 20% to put down, and
Right.
and just like pre-manage your costs by running a budget before you make your offer. Just see before you go and sign that purchase and sale agreement. Let's see how it actually looks on a monthly basis. And if it's too tight, that is your indication as a couple. Let's just hold off, or we'll reduce how much we're going to spend.
That's right. See what life is going to be like post purchase of the home. Number six, learn to invest like pros. You talk about in the piece in the Star about happy, wealthy couples and how they actually invest more than the typical couple.
A lot of us were told 10% is what you need to spend, or sorry, what you need to save for retirement. Turns out that's just not enough now with high inflation, the fact we're living longer through very, amazing medical advances. But wealthy couples are saving 15 to 20% of everything that they're earning. That's a lot more than 10%. So here's my advice is if you're listening to this and you're thinking, gosh, that's a lot of money, start where you can. Maybe it's 2%. And then next year, move it to 3, then to 4, 5, 6, until you get up to 20%. It does take time to adjust how much you're saving, but that gradual adjustment will be kind of your best friend in the process.
Yeah, and again, using tech, just setting up your account on an app or whatever, so that it can just take away that money per month, and then you don't even have to think about it. You don't even actually have to actively do it. You set it up that it does it for you. Number 7 is make your financial plan.
So the financial planning process is very easy once you're started. But at first it could feel like, gosh, I don't even know where to begin. Here's what you'll need to know is that couples with a financial plan statistically have 2 to 3 times the amount of money than couples without a financial plan.
Wow.
Wow. So be like different from 90% of the population. Make a plan. If you don't know how to do it yourself, which most of us don't, hire somebody. There are planners, there are coaches that do this kind of work. There's nothing to be scared of. This is one of the biggest gifts that you can give for your relationship is the financial freedom to do what you want as a couple when you're ready to retire.
Yeah. And look, if you and your partner are still at odds, like you talk about spending money on yourself, a money coach, a financial planner, as you mentioned, that could be the way to go. And as you mentioned in the piece, that could be the perfect Valentine's Day gift. So you could keep that in mind as well. Check out mevest.ca. Personal finance expert, Mevest founder, Hank and Dot's mom, Lesley-Anne Scorgi. Lesley-Anne, always a pleasure, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, Jeff.